How long do we have to wait until the North Melbourne Kangaroos are actually competitive and fighting for finals? Not even start with fighting for finals. Let's get competitive first. They've got all the young talent in the world, but they continue to not deliver. How long do we have to wait? Is the big question going into 2026 season. Is it going to be different? We'll have to find out as we preview this season right now. Let's go. Yes, guys, and welcome back to the Up the Guts channel, and we're getting to the back end of the 2026 season preview series. So if you haven't already watched the other ones that I've done, that I've been doing in alphabetical order after this video, make sure you go and have a look at them, because I might have done your team, but if I haven't done your club yet, it will be coming up very shortly. But today, we're here to talk about the Kangaroos, who are such a frustrating side. I'd hate to be a supporter of the Kangaroos, in my personal opinion. I think a lot of people would share that. Maybe even Kangaroo fans would share that they're just sick of waiting to be competitive. 2025, they finished 16th, and a lot of people said this was the year. This was the year we're going to make a significant improvement and get to that 12th, that 10th spot on the ladder. They did. They started off reasonably well with a big win over Melbourne earlier in the season, but then just went back to their old ways. And we'll talk about later on in this video why one of the big reasons it is. But the only thing they can do, and they keep doing, but they haven't done it as big this year, is go to the draft. But one player that they should be excited for is their number 16 draft pick, Lockie Doverston. Now, Lockie Doverston from the Eastern Rangers has that Nick Watson type of effect that they are saying can play tall, but he's a small electric forward who has all the celebrations, has the spark. So if they can get it in there, hopefully he can make an impact on that forward line. Their forward line, I actually don't mind, which we'll touch on when we get into over there. Hugo Makuta through number 48 draft pick. They also picked up Charlie Spargo for the free agency from Melbourne, which was an interesting one. He fell out of favour at Melbourne. Did manage 188 games for Melbourne. Kicked the 64 goals. 10 matches in 2025, but from those 10 matches as a small forward, only kicked the one goal, which is pretty poor. I'm assuming he would have played the sub a lot, but still 1 goal from 10 matches as a small forward, and was often out. You could see why he expressed his free agency move over to the Kangaroos. This is compared to 2021, which was his best season, where he kicked 18 goals. So you can see he was known as that pressure forward down in that the premiership year of Melbourne in 2021. Applied the pressure, the tackling. That was their mantra, their forward pressure that they provided. So if you can get back to that and try and lock it in and try and give this forward line that I do somewhat rate some hope. Blake Trick, 3 gold as well with pick 26. Now let's have a look at some of the outs. So Miller Bergman was delisted. We saw a couple of times, but not as much as you would have liked. Not to get confused with Port Adelaide's Miles Bergman. It's Miller Bergman. Callan Dawson was also delisted. Eddie Ford was delisted. And he was an interesting one. Sometimes you thought, oh, geez, this guy has some real talent. And then it was like he wasn't in favour. I don't know if it was his attitude around it. He's a happy larrikin type of guy. But he was the pick 56 in the 2020 draft. Debuted round 20 of 2021 versus Geelong. Played the 40 games for the Kangaroos and kicked the 31 goals. There's a couple of games where he kicked 3. Might have even had a 4-goal game. And we thought, geez, could he build a career here? But he has been delisted. Finbar Marley, we touched on in the Adelaide one, that he was traded to Adelaide, which was also an interesting one. Can take a really good mark, but his kicking is a big worry. And I don't know where he fits in that Crows one. But it's not a Crows preview, it's the Kangaroos preview. We have a look here. Geordie Payne was delisted. Will Phillips was also delisted. This was fair enough. I think they gave him as much as an opportunity as they possibly could have. 23 years old. He was a pick 3 in the 2020 draft and just hasn't delivered like they would have liked. Debuted the 2nd of April 2021 via the Western Bulldogs. Managed only just the 50 games and only the 8 goals. Only 6 games in 2025, purely playing a bit more as a tagger in 24 and 25. Averaged 14 disposals, but he has since signed to Collingwood VFL. So if he goes there and has a good start to the VFL season, he could potentially looked at as someone to be picked up through the mid-season mid-season draft, whether it's that elevated to Collingwood's list or another list, but he has been since signed to the Collingwood VFL. Another one that was delisted was Darcy Tucker at 29 years old. He was one of those. He was alongside Griffin Lowe coming across from Fremantle. He was a pick 2017 in the 2015 draft to the Dockers. 156 games, 108 of them down at the Dockers and 48 for North. Was traded to North, as I mentioned, in the 2022 draft period with Griffin Lowe. Only managed 7 matches in 2025, so they were already laying the fine print there, saying we were looking to move past you. Seven matches in 25, averaging the 13.3 disposals. This is compared to 2024, where he played 23 matches, averaged 17.4 disposals, and kicked the 3 goals. So we could see that they were already showing in 2025, hey, look, you're not the type of player we're looking for. We're moving past you, and he has since been delisted. And Bryn Teagle was also delisted as well. Now let's have a look at their look up across the park. Let's start off with the key defenders. Aiden Core, Will Dawson, Griffin Logue, Blake Threegold, the new draftee, Charlie Comben, Toby Ping, and Matt Winglock. They are massive, massive concerns in this back half. I've written down here, I'm just going to jump into it now, starting off with the key defenders. They are my needs to lift, the key defenders. May as well get into it while I'm talking about it. The whole back line needs to lift. 2,365 points were scored against him in 2025. That is an average of 102.83 per game. That is an extraordinary number. If you're getting over 100 points kicked on you every week, there is a massive problem. And it's said since they've got rid of the zone and they've gone for a man-on-man. Now, that's not today's game. So that shows that they can't do the zone. So I don't know what they can do. Could we possibly see bigger bags being kicked on him? But that whole back line needs to lift, especially the key defenders. Griffin Logue needs to stay fit. I like Charlie Comben, but he can't be your number one key defender. He's more as that intercepting type of defender, but that whole backline seriously needs to lift. As for the regular defenders, they've actually got some exciting young talent. Finn O'Sullivan, the number 2 draft pick from last year's draft, was really good in his first season. I'm certain that he will eventually make that move into the midfield. A smaller type, but really goes hard at the footy. Real one, good one there. Caleb Daniel, I don't see them playing Caleb Daniel. I think they might try and move past Caleb Daniel. That was not the same Caleb Daniel we saw at the Western Bulldogs last season. Turned the ball over too much. Was hogging the ball and then taking on kicks and just, as I mentioned, turning it over and just not hitting it. So I think they'll try and move past. They'll look to play Finn O'Sullivan. They'll look to play Colby McKercher more. He's already playing, but they will be taking his spot. I think they'll go to Riley Hardiman. Luke McDonald, the skipper down there. The skipper. Nick Larkey's now the skipper down there, but former skipper. Josh Goda. And Jackson Archer was one who was really starting to pick up some form in the back end of last year, but he's unfortunately done a season ending. I believe it was an ACL, but we will not see him in 2026, which is a shame because he was one who, like his father, hard at it, is that real lockdown defender and was really starting to cover some form in the back end of the season, but unfortunately we will not see him in 2026, and it's back to the drawing board for Jackson Archer, which is a shame because he worked so hard to solidify a spot in that team, and it's just been ripped apart from him. So thoughts go out to Jackson Archer. Hopefully he can come back in the form that he was in the back end of 2025 in the future. Midfielders now. Harry Sheasel's a full-time mid now. No more playing halfback. I think Harry Sheasel moves into the midfield, and if anything, he plays that centre forward role. I want to see him pushing up the ground a bit, pushing up into the forward line a bit more. That's where he was drafted, as a forward mid. So I want the Harry Sheasel impacting the scoreboard, which he started to do, and he looks so threatening. George Warlord needs to stay fit because he's so crucial to this team on the inside. He's contested ball, but he just keeps pinging hammies, keeps doing casts, and keeps getting concussions. So he needs to stay fit because of how important he is. Bailey Scott does his honest work out on the wing. Luke Davies-Juniak needs to keep leading by example, but I believe he's a bit inconsistent. Needs to be consistently good, Luke Davies-Juniak. Sometimes you sit there and you go, wow, this bloke could be a top 10 player in the competition, and then other times he just goes missing and does some silly things. So hopefully he can lock in. Jai Simpkin is listed as a midfielder, but spend a bit more time at half forward as well. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Luke Urquhart, Dylan Stevens, we didn't really see that much of. Tom Powell had a really good 2025, really started to build on into the promise that they had been talked about, but he's starting to repay the favour. Luke Parker, we know, is a solid citizen. He started playing a bit more of a forward role as well and was hitting the scoreboard as well. Hugo McKinder, the new draftee. And Robert Hansen Jr. is actually listed as a midfielder. Mainly played as a half forward. Played the sub role a lot. But see if he can get a bit more time in 2026. Now, the rucks. It's only one man show only. Callum Colmore-Jones, Taylor Goad, but Tristan Cherry is signifying himself as one of the best rucks in the competition. He's a must-have if you're wanting to spend the money on a Supercoach player, if you're a Supercoach player. But Tristan Cherry is the main one. If he goes down, it is massive worries for the engine room for the Kangaroos. Key forwards. Now, Nick Larkey, the new skipper, we know what a star player Nick Larkey is. It's consistently performed in an underperforming side. Imagine if he was at a much stronger side. His potential would be enormous. But another one that I liked was Cooper Trembath. He came on in the back end of the season, and he actually looked really good. I believe he kicked 12. I think he kicked 12 in 3 weeks it was. So he's one to keep looking at. We haven't seen much of him on the socials, but hopefully Cooper Trembath is there round one. And Jack Darling, you can't expect much from Jack Darling at his age. He was there just to take the load off Nick Larkey. Now forward, Zane Dersman needs to find out what type of player he is and start making an impact on a game, because I think it could be a career. If it's not this year, it's next year. If he needs to make a statement of his career. Pick 3, I want to say, or pick 4 in the draft a couple of years ago. Has all the talent in the world. His dad has said he is the best one out of the lot, but we just haven't seen it. We saw him move to half back at the back end of last year. That's not his position. We need to see him at forward, playing as kind of like that third tall. And there was always talk that he could go into the midfield, but I think he needs to solidify a spot first because there's so much talent there, but he just hasn't tapped into it. Mentioned Charlie Spargo. Zach Fisher's listed as a forward. We've seen him spend a bit of time at half-back, so interesting to see what we do there. Paul Curtis had an exceptional 2025. He was snubbed of I don't believe he even got an All-Australian squad mention, or it was either they were snubbed the squad or the team. I can't remember which one they were going up about. But would have had an even better year if he didn't get suspended for that ridiculous, dangerous tackle. So I'm excited for 2026 of Paul Curtis if we get the 2025 Paul Curtis. Such an impact in that team. Braden George, I don't believe we're yet to see. If not, we've seen him very little. River Stevens, we're yet to see River Stevens as well as we keep moving down here. Cooper Harvey, we've seen, and I really like the look of Cooper Harvey. When he's came into play, he's really cashed in at AFL level, so I hope they stick around with him. Jacob Costanzi, I actually don't mind from the Sydney Swans. He had that moment where he celebrated when they were that far down in a game, but I thought he actually played reasonably well, hit the scoreboard consistently. Cam Zurhaar, we know what the type of player is like, but we need him to play at a consistent level. Just goes missing a few times, but when he is on, he's one of their most important forwards. And Zach Banch, we saw a couple of times as well. That's how they look across the park. Now it's time to highlight my lookout for player. Let's go. Right, now to highlight my last player. I've already done the needs to lift in the section, which was the key defenders. So my lookout for. And funnily enough, it is a defender as well. Not a key defender, though. It's a player who's going to be playing at halfback this year, and it is Colby McKercher. Colby McKercher is an absolute star. Going into his third season, he's a former number 2 draft pick. 2025, 22 matches, 23.2 disposals, 11 goals. This is some of the best he can do. Best game, round 17 versus Western Bulldogs. 32 disposals, 9 marks, 7 score Roberts, and 555 metres gained. But what I love most about Colby McKercher is his use of the ball, and he's been likened and compared to an Errol Goulden. And I don't mind that comparison because the sky's the limit for Colby McKercher, I think, because the way he uses the ball, he finds plenty of it too. He is one of the future for the North Melbourne Kangaroos. I'm certain that eventually he'll make that move into the midfield. But for now, that half-back spot is perfect for him, and I reckon he's ready to explode in 2026. Just quickly, guys. Just currently doing the edit for the video, and I noticed I didn't put where I predict the Kangaroos to finish in 2026. So I thought I'd add it in here, post-edit, and then chuck it in there. So the frame rate is going to be a little bit different, but I thought it's too big of a thing not to add in. So where do I think the Kangaroos will finish in 2026? You're not going to like this, Kangas fans, but I think it's going to be another long year. No, I don't think this will be the year. I think you'll finish around that 14 spot again. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my 2026 season preview for the Kangaroos. Thank you guys for watching along on YouTube. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and comment. Hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload. But if you don't have time to sit down and watch this video, Thankful for you guys. I've got this available via audio, just so you guys via Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So if you're one of those audio listeners via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Hit that follow button, turn the notification bell on so you notify whenever we upload. Share this off to a fellow Kangaroo supporter or someone who's just itching for the footy season to be back like I am. And please, guys, remember, most importantly, if you do enjoy this show and have been enjoying the series, make sure to leave a 5-star rating on this show, as it does help push the show out there to newer listeners. Thank you guys for watching and listening along. Until next time, I'll see you guys then.